So how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Now, there is some pretty unfortunate news, as you can probably tell by the title, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 is officially coming to an end. We are no longer going to receive any more updates. They're just going to keep the servers alive, and we're going to be able to play offline instant action and co-op and stuff, but we will not be getting any more updates coming to this game. So it's been a long, rough ride, and I don't know what this means for my channel or for future Star Wars games or anything, but yeah, this is it. No more Battlefront. But I will go over the patch notes of this final update here in a minute. But just to further confirm that this is the final update for Battlefront, they are shutting down the Battlefront forums. If you head over to the Battlefront forums, it says, "Hello Star Wars Battlefront players, we have released an important announcement about the future of Star Wars Battlefront 2. With this announcement, we will also transition our official Star Wars Battlefront game forums to Answers HQ to ensure a consistent forum experience alongside with our other Star Wars titles. This transition means that on the 28th of May 2020, which is today, you will no longer be able to visit these game forums. Thank you for all your passion, discussion, and feedback you've shared with us on these forums. For continued discussion after this time, the Answers HQ Star Wars forum will be your new home, and we hope to see you there." So they are shutting down the forums. You can no longer, go there and voice your concerns about the game. And then Dennis Brandval, the lead developer on Battlefront 2, is announcing that he's leaving. He had a tweet and he says, "For the past 6 years, I've had the privilege of working on Star Wars Battlefront. Any good story, it's been filled with highs and lows, sharing this journey with not only our wonderful dev team and my great friends at Lucasfilm, but also my two boys, production babies on Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, and already avid Star Wars fans, have been the most amazing of adventures. Today, I'm moving from working on Star Wars. I will forever appreciate all your kind words of support. To all of you who appreciated me at E3 events or Star Wars Celebration, online on Reddit or Twitter, or even stopping me in the streets, I'm humbled by your support, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Turning this franchise around has been the most meaningful work I have ever done. Working in a galaxy far, far away has truly been the adventure of a lifetime. Farewell, and may the Force be with you always." And then even IGN has already posted an article about this, saying that Battlefront is going to leave. So it is pretty official. Even the lead developer, Dennis, is leaving Battlefront. So, all we can do is hope for a Battlefront 3 at this point. We don't know what the future holds. So I'll probably make another video going over, my whole thoughts on this situation. But with all that out of the way, let's just get right into the patch notes. This is the final amount of patch notes that we have, so it's pretty jam-packed. These are the final changes that we're going to be getting to this game. So fingers crossed that there's some good changes in here. So it says hero changes. Based on his new era-appropriate appearance, Emperor Palpatine alongside Chewbacca are now available as player-controlled AI heroes on the Age of Resistance era of Supremacy, Instant Action, and Co-op Mission. And then they fixed an issue that would cause headshot damage when hitting certain heroes in the right side forearm as a hero. Blaster heroes who can use the scope of their weapon now go in full first-person view and do not stay in third-person anymore. This change is where the blaster shot comes from, improving the experience. So I guess blaster heroes can now go in first person. I think that's what that means. Hopefully that is a good change. We'll have to see what that actually, looks like in person when the update comes out. Based on this new era-appropriate appearance, Darth Maul alongside Yoda are now available as player-controlled AI heroes on the Age of Rebellion era maps of Supremacy, Instant Action, and Co-op. It says dash abilities for all heroes and reinforcements. These are now following the direction of the camera instead of the character model. This applies to the below abilities: Rey's dash, Obi-Wan's rush, Han Solo's shoulder charge, BB-8's charge, Grievous's claw rush, the jet trooper, and the Invisian gunner. So that's a good change to the, the charge abilities. BB-8 and BB-9 fix an issue with the twist milestone not tracking, and then they fix an issue where the charge up ability would not lead to the reduction cooldown times on allies. Leia, they fix an issue where the detonators could go into cooldown prematurely. This has been a problem since they changed her last update. They updated Leia's hero description, And then they fixed an issue where Leia's shield would not heal when outside of the player's line of sight. And then Chewbacca, they fixed an issue where Chewbacca could do melee attacks in mid-air after activating the slam. Chewbacca's charge slam ability will be less likely to be triggered when Chewbacca falls from small heights. They fixed an issue where Chewbacca's goggle lenses and the Vandor heist appearance would not be visible in the collection screen. And then they fixed an issue where his charge slam animation would be interrupted when jumping over uneven surfaces. Then for Boba Fett, they fixed an issue where Boba Fett could disable blaster weapon of targets that aren't concussed when shooting behind them. That's the only change we're getting to Boba Fett. So I guess what we have with Boba Fett's what we get. Rey's getting one change. They fixed a visual issue where her mouth would not move during emotes. Phasma improved the animation of her staff strikes. Obi-Wan improved the audio effects of his resistance mind trick ability. Lando fixed an issue where Lando's weapon would heat up even when shooting during the Super Success minigame. Bossk improved the visual effects to better show the range of his proximity mines. They fixed an issue where Kylo Ren's freeze while a player is performing a roll dash would invert the direction of movement. Fixed the crippling issue on Kylo Ren's Power of Darkness victory pose. Grievous fixed an issue that would cause Grievous's abilities to be interrupted by abilities and melee attacks, and then they fixed an issue that would allow the player to trigger Unrelenting Advance ability twice, causing Grievous to repeat the animation endlessly. So that's been a bug for a while. So that looks like all the changes we're getting to heroes. Some of them are getting good changes and some of them not so much. So fingers crossed that none of these changes cause any glitches, because if they get glitched, they're not going to get fixed. So any glitches we have in this update are going to stick with us for the remainder of when we play this game. Then we have Supremacy. A round of Supremacy will now take place once per map. That way it doesn't play the same map twice in a row. They changed some co-op stuff, which we already talked about in the last video. Then they just fixed some audio stuff for Heroes vs. Villains and Hero Showdown. Then we have map changes, fixed various collision exploits. Basically all the maps they fixed collision exploits. They fixed an issue where a player would incorrectly take damage from an invisible fire asset on Kashyyyk. They fixed an issue where players would not die when jumping off the mine on Kessel. And I'm trying to just pick and choose some of the major changes here. It says various balancing changes on reinforcements and weapons. The ARC Trooper, they raised the rate of fire in the toggle fire mode from 360 to 420. They increased the damage from 34 to 35 and 15 to 17. And then they decreased the recoil setting that would make the aim kick left and right with each shot. So the ARC Trooper is overall getting a major buff here. I mean, he's going to have a faster rate of fire, do more damage, and have less recoil. So I bet the ARC Trooper is going to be one of the best reinforcements in the game now based off of those changes. And then the B2 RP rocket droid, they reduced his base health from 300 to 200 as they're outperforming all other aerials and are using the same health as the regular B2 droid. And they reduced the end damage of the wrist blaster from 25 to 24. So the rocket jumper for the droids is getting a major nerf. So I think they'll be pretty almost useless now. That kind of sucks. The B2 Super Battle Droid, they reduced the end damage on the wrist blaster from 25 to 24, so it's getting a nerf. The Commando Droid reduced E5 near damage from 42 to 30, since the sword should be the main weapon for close range. So the primary blaster for the Commando Droid is getting a nerf for up close combat. The Death Trooper, they reduced the damage from 56 to 50 and 35 to 24. So the Death Trooper is getting a nerf. The Rebel Imperial Rocket Troopers increased the near damage output from 40 to 45. Wookiee Warrior, slight increase to end damage from 20 to 23. The Ewok Hunter increased damage output from the Wisties Pouch from 5 to 10 per second. And that's the only change they made to the Ewok Hunter. The Envisian Gunner increased near damage from 24 to 25. The DL-18, they reduced the heat buildup per shot. The Cycler Rifle damage has been increased from 65 to 75. Resolved an issue where the Cycler Rifle would have high accuracy when not zooming while crouched. Then they have the Vanguard Slug. They made the slug more accurate when zooming. Then the Enforcers, they fixed a visual effect where the thermal imploder would not be visible when looking directly at the grenade. Then the Infiltrators fixed an issue where the reinforcements could potentially get stuck in a crouch animation. The ISB agent unfortunately did not get a buff or anything. I thought the ISB agent definitely needed a buff, but they just made visual improvements. Then they just made a few changes to the Heavy. For example, the Heavy Sentry will no longer give you explosive damage reduction. Now you have to use that Bodyguard star card. The Officer fixed an issue where the Officer's own flash grenade could flash the Officer through a wall. And then they fixed an issue where the Officer's infantry blaster turret would keep being repaired even after only Officer standing next to it was defeated. Then we have some changes for the Chapek Spy. They fixed an issue where the Spy would receive damage by using the Truncheon attack while sprinting against the environment. They fixed an issue where the Orbital Strike UI messaging would remain active on the screen after it ended. Then they fixed an issue where the Orbital Strike would show only one player if multiple were standing there. They fixed an issue where the Spy's baton spinning around was out of sync with the animation. And then the Clone Commando, it says they fixed an issue where the battle focus would allow the Clone Commando to regain health even when damaging the objective, which I thought was intended. So that's a slight nerf for the Commando. And then it said they fixed a visual issue where the Commando's weapon slight attachment would occasionally show up misplaced during the Commando's dodge animation. And then it says fix an issue where the Commando droid's animation would break after the smoke screen. Then they mentioned the Ewok Hunter again. It says fix an issue where the Ewok Hunter's arrows would remain on defeated enemies for too long. Fix an issue where the Hunter's Instincts ability would not work on arcade. And then they fix an issue where the arrow shooting sound would be heard even when no arrows were shot. Then the ATRT fixed an issue with the reinforced Hall Star card would not have any effect on the ATRT. ATST fixed an issue that would cause the name tag of the player using the ATST to show up on the bottom of the vehicle. The Sith Trooper says fix an issue with the audio of the Sith Trooper's melee swings losing functionality after the first swing. The Jet Trooper fix an issue where the First Order Jet Trooper could evade without limitations. Fix an issue on the backpack interior of the First Order Jet Trooper. And then they just fixed some visual effects with the ragdoll. And then the Flame Trooper added an alt fire for the Flame Trooper to give it a mid-range attack to make it more viable combat situations and on more maps. And then they approved a visual effect on the First Order Flame Trooper's Incendiary Grenade. So the Flame Trooper actually got a buff here with a mid-range attack, so that's pretty cool. The Imperial Rocket Trooper, they just fixed a visual texture on him. They fixed an issue with the Droideka where it could gain a significant height when rolling off elevated surfaces. The Wookiee Warrior's Fortify ability is now replaced with Charge Slam. So they said this in the past, but they took it back and said that they didn't do that. So I guess that's a buff to the Wookiee Warrior. I guess the Wookiee Warriors act like mini Chewbaccas now, which could be problematic. I guess we'll have to see how powerful that is. The Death Trooper, they just fixed a visual effect. The Aerial, they fixed a visual effect. It says vehicles, they updated the description on protected critical system star card. For the vehicles, they just affected different star cards and stuff. Weapons, it says updated the reward description for crates containing weapon modifications. AI players, class icons added to AI players in Supremacy and Instant Action. Reduced likelihood of the AI hero spamming consistency when playing co-op missions or Instant Action. Then it says general changes in miscellaneous. They fixed an issue where a player who is invited to a group party would not be able to join or placed in the queue when prompted. They fixed an issue in co-op missions and Starfighter Assault related to audio would interrupt continuous music. And they just had a bunch of like random behind the scene changes and stuff. And then it says at the bottom, known issues, wrong announcers can be heard by the player when transitioning between the round phases of any game mode while using a hero newly introduced in the era. And it says the appearances of AI controlled clone troopers on the Republic attack cruiser and instant action and co-op missions are incorrectly set to phase 1. So those are some of the major changes that were made in this update. It's kind of unfortunate that a lot of the reinforcements actually received nerfs. I was not expecting that. I mean, some of them got buffs like the Flame Trooper and the Arc Trooper, but I didn't feel like a lot of those were necessary changes. Like the Super Battle Droids getting a nerf, the Death Trooper getting a nerf. They didn't buff the ISB agent or the Ewok Hunter, which I found surprising. And overall, I mean, for a final update, these patch notes are kind of disappointing. Some of these are some good changes, like the Leia change and the Grievous change and stuff. But we'll just have to see how much of this actually works when the update actually comes out tomorrow. We'll have to do a lot of testing. And like I said, I mean, with this being the last update that we're getting, I mean, any major bugs and glitches that this game has probably are never going to get fixed. So fingers crossed that this update does not break anything too bad. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this game coming to an end? I know I'm pretty disappointed about it, but that's because my channel is mainly based around Battlefront. But yeah, I'm going to make another video probably tomorrow regarding the whole end of Battlefront situation and the whole status of my channel and stuff. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you are new here, and I will talk to you all in the next video.
Will you join me? Accept your fate. I grew impatient.